request all the kids who are sitting on the chair, please come forward, and so we can get the majlis started. For Muhammad wale Muhammad salawat.
बर मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सलावत। कर मदद मेरी बाकर बेटा, हमशीर की कबर बनाऊं मैं। कर मदद मेरी बाकर बेटा, हमशीर की कबर बनाऊं मैं। जंजीर उठाओ तुम मेरी, जंजीर उठाओ तुम मेरी, और उसकी लाश उठाऊं मैं। कर मदद मेरी बाकर बेटा, हमशीर की कबर बनाऊं मैं। दादा ने बड़ी मजलूमी में था दादी को दफनाया, लेकिन वो मदीना था बाकर, और ये है देश पराया। इस 4 बरस की मजलूमा को गुर्बत में कहाँ दफनाऊं मैं। कर मदद मेरी बाकर बेटा, हमशीर की कबर बनाऊं मैं। मिल जाए अगर वापस मुझको वो तेरी रिदा और गौहर, बाबा की लहद पर रख दूं क्या सुगरा को दूं वापस जाकर। वो दोनों अमानत हैं तेरी, वो दोनों अमानत हैं तेरी, बतला दे किसे पहुँचाऊँ मैं। कर मदद मेरी बाकर बेटा, हमशीर की कबर बनाऊं मैं। जब तुमको रिहाई मिल जाए, फुफियों को वतन ले जाना, रह लेंगे यहीं हम भाई बहन, तुम काफिला घर ले जाना। दफनाते हुए इस बच्ची को, दफनाते हुए इस बच्ची को, जिंदा में अगर मर जाऊं मैं। कर मदद मेरी बाकर बेटा, हमशीर की कबर बनाऊं मैं। कर मदद मेरी बाकर बेटा, हमशीर की कबर बनाऊं मैं। जंजीर उठाओ तुम मेरी, जंजीर उठाओ तुम मेरी, और उसकी लाश उठाऊं मैं। कर मदद मेरी बाकर बेटा, हमशीर की कबर बनाऊं मैं। दादा ने बड़ी मजलूमी में था दादी को दफनाया, लेकिन वो मदीना था बाकर, और ये है देश पराया। इस 4 बरस की मजलूमा को गुर्बत में कहाँ दफनाऊं मैं, कर मदद मेरी बाकर बेटा, हमशीर की कबर बनाऊं मैं। मिल जाए अगर वापस मुझको वो तेरी रिदाया गोहर, बाबा की लहद पर रख दूं क्या, सुगरा को दूं वापस जाकर। वो दोनों अमानत हैं तेरी, वो दोनों अमानत है तेरी, बतला दे किसे पहुँचाऊँ मैं, कर मदद मेरी बाकर बेटा, हमशीर की कबर बनाऊँ मैं, कर मदद मेरी बाकर बेटा, हमशीर की कबर बनाऊं मैं। सलावत।
सलावत। मुझे मतलूब होगा जाम लेना जब भी कौसर का सलाम ऐसा पढ़ूंगा दिल भर आएगा, सलाम ऐसा पढ़ूंगा दिल भर आएगा पैगंबर। ज़मीन करबला क्या पूछना, तेरे मुक़द्दर का है तुझ में आज तक महफूज सरमाया, है तुझ में आज तक महफूज सरमाया। पर कमर क्यों खम न हो दिल गम से टूटे, क्यों न सरवर का अलम बरदार आकर भाई था, अलम बरदार आकर भाई था बाजू बर, लबे दरिया लंबरदार भी काम आ गया आखिर। बस अब अल्लाह हाफिज हज़रत ज़ैनब की चादर, बस अब अल्लाह हाफिज हज़रत ज़ैनब की चादर। तेरी गैरत को आखिर क्या हुआ, कुछ तूने सोचा भी, भरी महफिल में कैसा, भरी महफिल में कैसा तज़किरा ज़ैनब की चादर का। मुझे मतलूब जब खातिमा बखैर हुआ फौज शाह का, कौसर पर काफिला गया, प्यासी सिपाह का घर लुट गया, जनाबे रिसालत पनाह का खाकुर रही हाल। ये था बारगाह वो भाई थे ने रफीक ना, वो नूर ऐन थे। दो बहनें रोने वाली थी और एक, दो बहनें रोने वाली थी और एक फरमाते थे कि वाह ये ताखीर है अजल। अकबर के बाद कौन सा था जीस्त का महल, अब मुझको एक बरस के बराबर है एक फल। मौत आए अब ये है शजरे जिंदगी, एक जा छुनी गलों पर जो चलती तो खूब था। ये जान उनके साथ निकाल, ये जान उनके साथ निकालती तो खूब। हम सब के बाद खल्क से जाने को रह गए, सर पीटने को अश्क बहाने को रह गए। इस नौजवान का दाग उठाने, इस नौजवान का दाग उठाने, पी में आहटो करे खाने को। बेटा कहाँ खबर जो दमे इंतकाल ले, इतना नहीं कोई के गिरूं तो, इतना नहीं कोई के गिरूं तो संभाल। नागा सोए लाशे पिसर जा पड़ी नजर, चिल्लाए दिल को थाम के सुल्तान बहरोबर। सोते हो क्या धरे हुए रुखसार खाक पर, अकबर उठो के घोड़े से गिरता, अकबर उठो के घोड़े से गिरता। भूले पिदर को नींद में कुर्बान आपके, आओ नमाज असर पढ़ो, आओ नमाज असर पढ़ो सात बार। अब्बा से नामदार तराई से उठ के आ, फटता है कल्ब जल रहे सब जिगर के घाव। छिड़को मेरी ज़रा पर जो पानी कहीं से पाओ, चलते हुए आम के मुसाफिर से मिलते, चलते हुए आदाम के मुसाफिर से मिलते। गफलत की तुमको नींद है शबीर, क्या करे मेरी तरह किसी को ना बेकस, मेरी तरह किसी को ना बेकस खुदा। चिल्लाया फौज को पिसरे सादे ना बेकार, लोग घेर लो हुसैन को सब मिलके एक बार। पलटे पड़े सवारों के लेकर रिसालादार, दो गोल बांधे आए कमांदार। 10,000 तीर अफगानों में तेगों में भालों में गिर गए, बेकस आलों में, बेकस हुसैन बर्चियों आलों में गिरते हैं आप, कौन संभाले कोई नहीं। सीने से कौन तीर निकाले कोई नहीं। सब मर चुके चाहने वाले, सब मर चुके चाहने वाले, बेजान पड़े हैं गोद के पाले, बेजान पड़े हैं गोद के पाले को। बेकस है आप जोर सिपाहे अदू का है, मुँह जिसका देखते हैं वो प्यास मुँह जिसका देखते हैं वो प्यासा लहू का है। फिजा ने जाके खेमे में बेवों को दी खबर है मेरे खुजाद का कटता है तन से सर, बिस्तर से उठ के गिर पड़े सज्जादे नौहगर, खैमे से निकली बीबी यहाँ बच्चों को, खैमे से निकली बीबी यहाँ बच्चों को, हिलता था अर्श हजरते ज़ैनब के बैन से, गिर गिर के दौड़ती थी कि मैं, गिर गिर के दौड़ती थी कि मैं लो हुसैन से।
I have a small English poem about Imam Ali. This is called Who is Imam Ali by Nouri Sardar. In understanding him, there is still confusion. Minds cannot encompass him, can vision? Minds cannot encompass him, can vision? Imam Ali is more than just Badr's victory. He is a thirst for those who love to ponder. He is a mirror of his own mirror. The opener of doors since Khaybar. I knew him since my eyes first peak. I spoke him since I knew how to speak. Tears are embarrassed to flow down his cheek. He is eloquence, not just his peak. He is eloquence, not just his peak. His virtues leave life's lessons breathless. 63 years knew he was ageless. Death understood that Ali is endless. Immortal, he isn't worthless. In understanding him, there's still confusion. The laws of normality have taught us anything is that Ali, against all norms, will continue to trend in the laws of normality. If the laws of normality have taught us anything, is that Ali, even against all norms, will continue to trend. He trends and rises above all, embracing the beyond, and even when he does, he numerically tends to be number one, the heaviest number of all. The origin, the beginning, it does not need to lend its importance back to number one because it is one. Even if they were to call him four, their scale, his weight would bend. He makes all numbers look insignificant. Call him fourth, 40th, or 400th. He is the first, much like he is always the first that tends to grow in trend. O Imam Ali, you are the first. O Imam Ali, you are the first, and no one can count you different. Even if they put you last, we'll just start counting from the end. Even if they put you last, we'll just start counting from the end. So if you want to serve the system, just to count him first, blessings upon Muhammad and the sons of Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
One quick announcement. Tonight after the Hussaini Urdu Majlis, English and Urdu Majlis, there is a private Majlis, a house Majlis at my residence in Lombard. This Majlis is going to be addressed by Hujjat Islam Sheikh Muhammad Al-Hilli. I know the weather is not really helping, but I would really appreciate your presence at my house. So if you need direction or any question, please, I should be available outside. Tomorrow night is going to be the last Majlis of these 5 Majalis series. And tomorrow night is also the Shab-e Shahadat of 4th Imam, Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam. Ziyarat-e-Tabud will be available after the Urdu Majlis. All Mu'mineen and Mu'minat are requested to please attend the program on time. Program is start at 7:30 p.m. with Namaz-e-Maghribain, with Jamaat led by Hujjat Islam Sheikh Muhammad Al-Hilli. Now I request Sheikh Muhammad Al-Hilli to the member with a loud salawat. Muhammad wale Muhammad salawat.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله والحمد حقه كما يستحقه حمدا كثيرا. وأعوذ به من شر نفسي إن النفس لأمارة بالسوء إلا ما رحم ربي. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء وسيد المرسلين خاتم النبيين سيدنا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المطهرين المكرمين. السلام عليك سيدي ومولاي يا أبا عبد الله، وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. قال الله العظيم في كتابه الكريم وهو أحسن القائلين وأصدق الصادقين: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعد الله المؤمنين والمؤمنات جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها، ومساكن طيبة في جنات عدن، ورضوان من الله أكبر، ذلك هو الفوز العظيم. آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. For the purification of the souls, the enlightenment of the hearts, for the hastening of the reappearance of the awaited Savior, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif, enlighten your souls in the atmosphere with the recitation of salawat upon Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Respected elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Paradise or Jannah is a destination for each and every human being that has been sought by humanity throughout the history. In the idea that you don't need to necessarily be a Muslim to seek paradise. Jannah is indeed the goal of each and every one of us. And it is a subject that brings a great deal of hope, enthusiasm, and joy in our hearts. When you and I speak about paradise, it truly presents a magnificent location and a place full of prosperity, full of happiness, full of the fulfillment of desires and joy. It is truly a subject that appeals to all kinds of people. Yet when you speak about paradise, there are those who often use the term heaven. Within the religion of Islam, we don't use heaven for paradise. At the outset, there is a need to distinguish in Christian theology how this is viewed, which is different to Islamic teachings. What does it mean? In Christian teachings, when it comes to the word heaven, it refers to Jannah. In Islamic teachings, what do you find? You find heavens refers to samawat. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for example, in the Quran says, لِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. To Allah belongs whatever is in the heavens and the earth. The samawat is deemed or translated as heavens. Jannah is something else. Jannah is a desirable place, an area in which Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala has created for the afterlife. Yes? And it will be the place of the righteous. Hence you find there is a movie in 2014 known as Heaven is for Real. This movie is when a child, he went through an accident and saw himself in heaven. Yes? In so-called Islamic teachings, which is known as paradise. Yes? He saw himself and he had a number of experiences there relating and talking about how he wondered and how he saw this amazing place. When you look at the New Testament, you recognize that the discussion surrounding heaven or paradise is found in what? How many places? 3 places. Only in 3 locations, very briefly, does the New Testament speak about Jannah. When you look at the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala discusses Jannah more than 140 times. And within that, 115 times is in reference to the destination that is sought by human beings. The other is in relation to the story of Adam alayhi salam, for example, or the Jannah of Barzakh, the intermediary life. In the idea that when you and I speak about this concept, it brings about a great deal of motivation. It drives us to do certain tasks. Human beings are driven by a number of factors. Today's scientists, psychologists, behavioral therapists, they talk about what is known as motivational theories of human beings. What do they mean? I mean, what makes you and I wake up in the morning and go to work? What drives us to come to Majlis? What gives us the enthusiasm to stand up and perform Salah and wake up at Fajr time where we feel comfort when we are sleeping? What makes us observe the fast of the month of Ramadan? What gives us the encouragement to respect our parents? And so on and so forth. The idea is there are theories presented which are referred to as motivational theories. They say, for human beings to do something, some tasks, there are external factors and there are internal factors. What is the difference? They say internally, sometimes you're interested in certain things. For example, education. You may like to study a subject. You may desire to gain more knowledge about a certain subtopic. So you go to school, you read a book, you watch a particular documentary. That's an intrinsic motivational drive. There is an external, yes, motivation, which is what? When you see that there is reward, when you see there is punishment. For example, if you're driving in the highway or the roads, if you see a cop next to you, it is very unlikely that you will speed unless you're looking for some punishment or some form of what? Some form of arrest. Yes? The idea is because you see that there is a likelihood of some kind of what? Repercussions upon you, you will control your behavior. Therefore, your behavior is governed by reward and by what? Punishment. When it comes to this notion of motivation, there is a very interesting motivational theory discussed in psychology. It is referred to an American psychologist by the name of Abraham Maslow. He has a theory known as Maslow's theory of motivation. Please understand this theory, very important. He says human beings are designed to look for things which are better and are intrinsically motivated towards that which is more good. So they are constantly looking for more. They're not always satisfied. They're constantly yearning to be better. Yes? So he says it's a hierarchical system of motivation. What does it mean? He says that when it comes to motivation of human beings, it starts with the basic needs. And if we don't fulfill the basic needs, they don't move on to the next motivation or the next area that they need. Yes? So the basic need is food, shelter, for example, sexual attainment, whatever it is, this must be attained. Then they move on to the next, which is social. They are sociable beings, so they need to be what? Somehow part of a social existence, a community or a society. Their next need, he says, is what? Is to be loved. Then he says there is this idea of self-esteem. Then he says security. All these, if you think about it like a pyramid, they go one after the other. Yes? Until finally he says the greatest need of the human being is to attain maximum potential. Is to reach the most that they can reach. And that is something that they desire the most. They work to establish the most. Yes? Each and every level within this motivation needs to be fulfilled for them to move on to the next level. What do you find? You find that, for example, in societies where there's no security, they will not necessarily look for that self-esteem or that building of a society. They just want their survival. So they want the society to be safe, for them to seek that appreciation from others. Their main concern is safety and security within the community. Hence, that idea is presented. It's a theory. But 1400 years ago, the Quran came forward, what? To present to us teachings that this theory supports. Not the Quran supports it. Yes, very important. These scientific theories come and go. Yes, the Quran is the actual word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Scientific theories come forward and support the Quran. Yes, what does the Quran say? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhal insan, innaka kadihun ila rabbika kathan famulaqih. O human being, you are moving slowly towards your Lord until you meet Him. Which means that the human being fulfills their objective, and Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala has created us for paradise, because by getting to paradise we attain the maximum potential of the human being. And it highlights to us the whole objective of our existence in this dunya. We are created in this dunya to build ourselves and to work to get to Jannah, because that is the what? The actual realization of what? Our potential of what we can achieve in life. Our life is centered upon the goal, which is Jannah. We work in this dunya to attain it. Yes? That's why, some people ask, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not just create Jannah and made everyone enter? Why do you have to go through dunya? Why do you have to go through all the hardship and difficulties and calamities? At the end of the day, you and I need to earn it. At the end of the day, you and I need to be worthy of giving paradise. Yes? Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam al-Muttaqeen, Ali ibn Abi Talib, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. In a famous narration says, Ala wa anna thamana anfusakumul jannah. The value of your soul, if you're to sell it anywhere, equals paradise. فَلَا تُبِيعُوهَا إِلَّا بِهَا. Don't sell your soul except for Jannah. Don't give it for anything else. Allah has placed a price tag on you. Don't sell yourself for anything cheaper. You're losing this transaction. You sell it to dunya, you sell it to materialism, you sell it to tyrants, you sell it to shaitan. You've lost it. What the idea that Imam alayhi salam is saying is, understand the whole objective. And that is, Allah will take your soul and give you in return Jannah. Yes? And that's why somebody once came to Imam Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, and said to him, Yabna Rasulillah, can you pray to Allah that I get Jannah? Please, I want to be in Jannah, in paradise. Imam alayhi salam looks at him and says, I'm going to pray to Allah so that you remain in Jannah. The man probably looked around and said to the Imam, trust me, I'm not living in paradise at the moment. Yes, it's not really something amazing. Why, your Imam, you saying that I should remain? How is this explained? Imam answers in 2 words. Wilayatuna hiyal Jannah. Our wilayah is in reality paradise. What does that mean? That means by being the followers of the Ahl al-Bayt, you are already building the palaces, and you are already building the towns, and you're already setting yourself. You are already in Jannah, but you don't see it. Imam is saying, Wilayatuna hiyal Jannah. That's why if you go to 3 important sources of our brothers, the Ahl Sunnah, hadith sources, they are Allama Tabari's tafsir, yes, very well known. Allama Hafiz Jalaluddin al-Suyuti, Shafi'i, tafsir, Durr al-Manthur, yes. Al-Hakim al-Hasakani, yes. And he has a book which is known as Shawahid al-Tanzil. They use it to see why certain verses are revealed in the Quran. Yes. These 3 are found in the #1 website in Saudi Arabia today by this so-called organization, names itself as the organization of the propagation of good and the prohibition of evil, but definitely it's the prohibition of good and the propagation of evil. Yes, this organization has this. The website is al-islam, al-islam.com. al-islam.org is a Shia organization. This is .com. You go there, you go to verse in Surah Al-Bayyinah. Yes, Surah Al-Bayyinah, towards the last 30th chapter of the Holy Quran, or the last 30th juz of the Quran. Surah Al-Bayyinah, the last two verses of Surah Al-Bayyinah says what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمْ خَيْرُ الْبَرِيَّةِ. Those who are believers and do righteous deeds are the best of people. جزاؤهم عند ربهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه. Their reward with Allah, the best of people, is that they get paradise in which underneath rivers flow, and they are there forever. Allah is pleased with them and they are pleased with Allah. The narrations in these three books of hadith, which are found in Saudi's main website, says what? The Prophet of Islam, Rasul al-A'zam wa Nabi al-Akram, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, once was asked when these verses were revealed, Ya Rasulullah, who are the people in which Allah is pleased with and they are pleased with God? Who are they? The Prophet answers, where in these three main sources, non-Shia, the Prophet says what? He says, Ya Ali, hum anta wa shi'atuka yawm al-qiyamati radhina mardhiyin. Oh Ali, these people that Allah says, khayrul bariyah, the best of people are you and your Shia on the day of judgment. You are pleased with Allah and Allah is pleased with you. This highlights what? This highlights that the subject of paradise was something that is truly unique, and indeed it is one that you and I must discuss, must be able to present when it comes to our discussions, especially with our youngsters. Why? Because we live in a world of cause and effect, asbab, yes? We live in a world where we have to earn things. We live in a world where we wait for things. We will live in a world where it's all process oriented. Whereas Jannah is all about spontaneous pleasures and rewards in which there is no anxiety, there is no depression, there is no hardship, there is no enmity, there is no excrement or waste of the human being, there is no obligation, there is no duties, there is no responsibilities. It's an existence entirely based on happiness, joy, tranquility, peace and love. It's an existence that is truly mesmerizing. And when you and I speak to our children and talk to our youth and motivate ourselves when it comes to Jannah, there is nothing better, I tell you, yes? Because how many times we face challenges in our lives where we are neglectful. Sometimes we don't do what we are supposed to do. Sometimes we fall short. Sometimes we slip when it comes to the temptations of shaitan. Sometimes we don't perform our duties, our wajibat. When it comes to discussing Jannah, when it comes to talking about the pleasures of paradise, it's an incredible motivation for the believer to constantly remind themselves about this eternal existence, about the existence that has no end, yes? About the existence which the Quran describes in detail and which I have found 1,120 narrations from the Ahl al-Bayt when it comes to Jannah. Incredible detail is found in the Quran and in the world of Hadith when it comes to paradise. And you know, in the world today, where there is so much negativity, with so much pessimism, and sometimes people are afraid to talk about Islam, when there are people who are worried how they speak to the youngsters, how could they teach them the love of Ahl al-Bayt? How can they teach them the love of God, which is most important overall, yes? How can they teach them to perform the salah with conviction, to wear the hijab with understanding and not to force them to do it? How can they present Islam in this beautiful way? I tell you, there is no better discussion than to talk about Jannah. Jannah, and the discussion about Jannah is sublime. Once I had a group of youngsters, school children, in Toronto. And I was describing this. I was talking to them about paradise and the beauties of paradise, yes? And that you and I, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of the people of Jannah. Anything that a human being wishes materializes and becomes a reality, yes? Whatever one desires, Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala gives them. One of the youngsters said, can you give me examples from the Quran? I said, well, the Quran gives examples of what is important at that time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says you can have rivers of honey, you can have rivers of milk. One of them said, I'm not interested. If I want honey, I buy it from Target. Can I have rivers of chocolate? Yeah, no problem. Another person said, can I mix a honey, a river of chocolate and Coca-Cola? I said, no problem. Allah gives you whatever you wish. The power of imagination of the youngsters then goes up the roof. Yes? That they will then start to think all kinds of wonderful things that they can have. Whatever there is a desire when it comes to the soul, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives. In fact, this is nothing when we say to them chocolate and whatever. Yes? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us even in Jannah what the eyes have never seen, what the heart has never pondered, and what the ears have never heard. ما لا عين رأت ولا أذن سمعت ولا خطر على قلب بشر. According to the riwayat of the Ahl al-Bayt, these are all references to try and make you and I indeed motivated when it comes to our tasks, our duties in life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala presents it to us so that we are clear as to what we need to do in life. Yes? That's why I often recommend that when it comes to the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Jannah as well as talks about Jahannam. This is known in Islamic teachings as at-targhib wa tarhib, to make something desirable and to also make sure people are also aware and cognizant of consequences and repercussions of their actions. What do we mean? Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala teaches us that in our lives we should have two lights in our hearts. The sixth holy Imam says a believer has two lights in their heart, the light of hope and the light of fear, and none of these should be over the other. So for example, I should not be too complacent. Yes, that's fine. I'm a Shia of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Jannah is guaranteed for me. Therefore, I will spend my life and I will waste it, and I will not look after prayers. I will not necessarily, for example, express my love towards the Ahl al-Bayt. I will listen to haram music. I will watch haram. Yes, I'll take it easy because I feel like Jannah is somehow guaranteed for me. That's wrong. Similarly, there are people out there who are too despondent, who are too fearful, who are constantly what? Constantly depressed and anxious because they see no light at the end of the tunnel. Yes? And often, there is one friend of mine who used to call me, often in our conversation, back in the time when there was no WhatsApp and so on, he used to say to me, what is the point? We're all gonna go to hell anyway. That kind of mentality is a problem also. Why? Because it's too pessimistic. That is too much of fear. We are told there needs to be a balance between hope and fear. And that balance can indeed be seen in the Quran, where there are so many descriptions, beautiful, detailed analysis of Jannah. And similarly, there is a description of what, God forbid, may Allah protect us from the chastisement of hell, what people of Jahannam actually eat and drink. There is a description in the Quran, yes? Their clothing, their conversation, yes? There is that detailed description in the Quran. Some people say, don't scare people. But what the problem is, sometimes we see from the minbar, sometimes we see only talk about Jahannam and not enough talk about paradise. Sometimes we see only talk about fear and not enough talk about hope. Sometimes we see only talk about hate, but we don't see enough talk about love. This all has to be emphasized, especially when it comes to what? Our youngsters. That is why the Ahl al-Bayt sought to emphasize this in the life of human beings and said, never give hope to Allah when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness. Never teach people to be despondent. Always have hope in Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala's blessings. A man by the name of Hamid ibn Qahtaba used to reside in Mashhad. One day in the month of Ramadan, a man by the name of Abdullah ibn Baz saw him in the streets walking and eating. He said to him, Hamid, how is it that you are eating? This is the month of Ramadan. Are you not observing any fast? Hamid said, what's the point? I'm going to go to hell. I might as well enjoy my life. He said, what do you mean? What have you done? He said, you know, one day Harun al-Abbasi, yes, Harun sent a servant at night to me. He sent a servant and said, I want to see you. So Hamid said, I went when I was living in Baghdad. At night I saw him. He said to me, Hamid, tell me, how much am I worth for you? What is my worth in your eyes? He said, I looked at Harun and said, you know, you are more valuable to me than my wealth. He said, Hamid was sent back. Harun said, go back. He said, when I got home, the servant came back and said, no, Harun wants you back. So I went back. This time I was worried because Harun, in the impact of intoxicants, can do anything. So he asked me, he said, I'm going to ask you second time, where is my value in your eyes? He said, I looked at him and said, you are more valuable than my entire family. Third time I was called, I was asked, I said, you are more valuable than my soul. Harun said, I'm not interested, go back. He gave him a fourth opportunity. On the fourth occasion, Hamid said, I said to him, you are more valuable than my religion. This time Harun smiled and said, that's what I was looking for. Here, go with this servant of mine, do whatever he says and asks you to do. He said, I don't know what's going on. We went to a house, there were 20 people who were chained there. And this servant who says, here, take the sword, behead them all. I said, who are they? He said, they are the Shia of Ali. He said, I had sold my religion to Harun. I beheaded them all. Is that all? No. He took me to another chamber. There were another 20. This time they were a bit older. I was told to behead them. I did that. Finally, when I went to a third chamber, they were all people in their 60s, elderly, yes? And I was told to behead them. He said, I beheaded 19. And the final one looked at me in the eyes and said, oh Hamid, how will you face God on the day of judgment and the Prophet and answer how you beheaded and killed 60 of the followers of Ali? Yes. Why? He said, I was shaken by what he said. But because I had given my pledge to my Khalifa that I'm selling my religion, I beheaded him too. We threw their bodies into the river and we placed their names on their heads. We gathered the heads and brought them to Harun. So Hamid said, when I did this, I thought to myself, that's it. God will never forgive me. I have slaughtered 60 human beings, innocent human beings. I'm not going to fast anymore. I'm going to be, look at this. He even admits himself that he's going to be of the people of Jahannam. Yes? He said, I'm going to be punished by God. Someone went and said this story to Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Ridha, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. And said to him, Ya ibn Rasulullah, this is what happened with Hamid, and this is what he did, and this is what he said when it comes to the month of Ramadan. Imam alayhi salam, listen to this, this is very important. Imam alayhi salam, according to the riwayah, said, his despondency and yes from God is a bigger sin than him killing 60 people. To lose hope in Allah is not a small thing. Ulama today, such as this great alim Sayyid Dastaghib, yes? Shaheed Dastaghib in the book Greater Sins. After shirk, the second greater sin is to feel that Allah will not forgive us. That Allah will not what? Be of the merciful and be kind and generous towards us. Therefore, there is an idea for us to have this balance in our lives. But to also discuss Jannah in every opportunity when it comes to speaking to our youngsters, because truly it is inspirational. Let's have a look at a few examples in the Quran so that we are equipping ourselves of how we discuss this. What do we understand when it comes to Jannah in its reality? How do we appreciate all the blessings of paradise? Yes, we are told when it comes to Jannah, what are we told? We are told what is the size of it. Yes, Quran tells us, في جنة عرضها السماوات والأرض. The Jannah encompasses more than the heavens and the earth. In narrations of Al-Kafi, for example, the sixth holy Imam, Imam Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. The narration says, Imam says, in Jannah there are trees. Yes, there are trees. And he says, one of the trees that people of heaven, Jannah, will be given, the distance of the shadow of the tree requires 40 years of traveling on a vehicle. Just the shadow of it. Yes. It is vast. It is not something that can be comprehended as far as its geographical location or size is concerned. That's number one. Number two, what about degrees? According to riwayat of the Ahlul Bayt, the number of degrees of Jannah are equal to the number of verses of the Holy Quran, which are more than 6,000. Yes? But the idea that the Imams give is that the one who has a close relationship with the Quran, especially from their youth, when they get to Jannah, the more they are able to recite from the Quran, and not from memory, but from action, the narrations tell us, the more they recite, Allah increases their status and their degree of Jannah. Our sixth Imam says, if a believer spends time with the Quran when they're young, the verses intermingle and intertwine with their flesh to the extent that they become part and parcel of their existence. Such should be the focus when it comes to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is not for those what? It is not only for the month of Ramadan. It is not only for istikhara. It is not only when what? We feel somebody's passed away. You know, when we recite Surah Yasin, we often recite Surah Yasin for those who have passed away, isn't it? Yes? For isal sawab of a marhum. Interestingly, Quran in Surah Yasin says what? لِيُنذَرَ مَنْ كَانَ حَيًّا. The verse and the chapter is more useful for those who are alive. لِيُنذَرَ مَنْ كَانَ حَيًّا. So that the Quran warns those who are alive. Yes, it benefits those who passed away, but it has much more impact upon those who are still alive in this world. Yes. The idea therefore is what? The idea is that the relationship between Jannah and Quran is established to the extent that there is a beautiful narration of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Hamalatul Quran urafa'u ahlul Jannah. The ones who carry the Quran, carry means what? Carry not physically, carry spiritually in its meaning as much as possible, are the ones who have real cognizance in Jannah, ma'rifah in Jannah. Now, please understand this very critical point that requires your attention. Some of our brothers and sisters, youngsters and others say, very well, this Jannah is amazing. This Jannah has what? Has 8 gates, yes, according to the Quran. And when it comes to these gates, some of them are identified. For example, one gate, one door of Jannah is known as what? Ar-Rayyan. This is only one that is approached and can be entered only by those who observe the fast of the month of Ramadan, for example. Yes, there are narrations that says Malaika are waiting for these 8 gates, but then they see some people enter Jannah on a different route, not through these gates. So they ask them, how did you enter Jannah? We did not see you enter through these 8 gates. They respond, they said, we prayed to Allah and supplicated and worshipped Him in secret in dunya. Now He enters us in Jannah in secret. Yes. Power of ikhlas is phenomenal. Yes. The idea is, they say, okay, very well. This is something amazing. But I don't mind settling for basic level of Jannah as long as I get there. Yes. Why should I work very hard in my dunya to gain as much as possible as far as paradise is concerned? Why should I place the effort to perfect my salah? Why should I place the effort to distance myself away from sinning? Why should I place my effort to give charity and to serve the community and to go for ziyarah and umrah and hajj? Why? Let me be a basic Muslim and inshallah I'll get to Jannah. Yes? What is the response to this? Let me give you an example. You remember this example, please. When you and I, God forbid, are in a hospital, yes, and we are suffering with an ailment, we're suffering with a bad disease which causes us pain and suffering, yes. We're sitting there in the hospital bed and somebody brings us the most delicious dish anyone could imagine. the most beautifully presented, the most deliciously cooked meal that you can imagine. Whatever you like, yes? If your favorite meal is a biryani, it brings you the best biryani this world has ever seen. Presents it before you. You, as an individual at that state, will not be very eager to eat it. Because you are not concerned. Your main focus is not the biryani. Your main focus is your pain. You are not in that state of mind to eat the most delicious food. You are suffering with pain. You may eat a bit and enjoy just a bit, but you leave it. Yes? Whereas if you are totally healthy and you're very hungry, yes, when this is given to you, you enjoy it more, don't you? You enjoy it even greater. Yes? When it comes to Jannah, we are told, the closer we are to Allah, the more effort we place in dunya, the sweeter and the more powerful the enjoyment is in paradise. The greater the fun, so to speak, is in Jannah. The more we place effort in dunya, the more we reap the fruits and appreciate its beauty. Just like how that person who is not well, we may not appreciate the excellence of the food as much because we are concerned. Similarly in Jannah, the higher degrees of spirituality that we have in this world, the closer we are to Allah, the more emphatic the pleasures of Jannah are, no doubt, yes? Hence you find what? Hence you find the description in Jannah is told about, for example, what? The earth of the Jannah smells musk, like a musk. The believers are given cities full of palaces. The food of the people of Jannah. There are descriptions in the Quran which are detailed. Allah Ta'ala says the fruits that are presented towards the people may sometimes look the same but never taste the same. Everything is limitless. Everything is endless in Jannah, yes? It is not something that you eat and you've had yesterday and it tastes the same. No. Allah Ta'ala says it always will taste better and indeed nicer. Yes? Similarly, what we are told when there's a beautiful narration from the Ahlul Bayt that says the people of Jannah are wandering and they see wonderful birds and animals. And they sometimes ponder and they think how these animals taste like. There is nothing that is haram in Jannah. Everything is halal. There is no need to go and refer back, oh, this is halal, or masail and taqleed and all these things. Yes? Everything is open. You can have whatever you like. Therefore they wonder, this bird, does it taste nice or not? The moment they wonder, Riwayah says, the narration says, that bird is cooked, ready before them to eat. It's there, straight away. Yes? Because it's all about what's in the mind in paradise. It doesn't even require us to ask. It's all about the mind, yes. The moment the thought comes, it materializes. The narration says, but the bird is not cooked in a normal way. Half of it is cooked in a particular manner and the other half in another way. So in today's world, maybe half of it is oven baked and the other is fried. In today's world. So the believer starts to eat. But there is no boredom. They don't feel sick. Nothing like that. But they say, I don't want to eat anymore. The bird goes back to how it was and flies away. When it flies away, it starts to show off to the other birds and says, who is like me and a servant of God in Jannah has eaten from me. This is powerful when we describe it to others, to imagine, yes, this world. And it is not a fallacy. Because some people ask, is this all metaphorical or is it real? Yes? Is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala going to give human beings such pleasures in such a manner? No doubt. Even more and even greater when you look at descriptions, for example, about the type of clothing of the people of Jannah. Yes? Full of gold and emerald and rubies and silver and whatever the human being desires. When you look at, for example, descriptions with regards to what? With regards to their details of their communication. What do people do? Quran tells us in Surah Yasin, yes. تَحِيَّتُهُمْ فِيهَا سَلَامٌ, yes. وَآخِرُ دَعْوَاهُمْ أَنِ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. That people greet each other with salam. And they're constantly thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They constantly observe the amazing blessings and the favors of the Almighty. And they keep enjoying it and are grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Quran says, in Jannah, there is wine. There is. Yes. Quran says, but that wine is not the intoxicant of this world. It's a special drink. وَسَقَاهُمْ رَبُّهُمْ شَرَابًا طَهُورًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when describing Jannah, says that the people of Jannah will be given special drinks. This purifies them. It expands their vessel in order to enjoy more and to appreciate the bounties and the beauties more. The drinks there have purposes. The purposes is to enhance the experience, is to develop the whole process for the human being. Yes? That's why I often say to people, if you are not able to be successful in convincing, God forbid, those who are drinking alcohol from the Muslim community, who are committing this vile act, you should tell them that, look, be patient in this world, adhere to Allah's principles and teachings, have tawbah and make commitment never to drink again, and Allah will give you in Jannah. Don't worry, yes, you will be rewarded, but with a drink which is only pure, nothing which causes you harm, nothing which makes you lose your mind, nothing which is a precursor to crimes and the committing of evil, yes, all goodness, yes. Similarly, the Quran comes forward, and indeed this is very important. The Quran says there is all this talk about physical pleasures. There is all this talk about wonderful things that awaits the human being. There is all this talk about the Hur al-Ain, for example, that many love to talk about, yes? The idea that there is the opposite gender for both the males and the females, because sometimes some other females say, is there something for us in Jannah too, yes? What about for example, the wives? Do they have a choice to remain with their husbands? Of course they have a choice, yes? They can either remain with their husbands or they can have other experiences in Jannah. Details cannot be given because of the presence of different age groups here in this particular hall. But the idea that is presented is what? Is the fact that all these are presented in Islamic teachings. But Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says there is a pleasure much more sweeter, much more profound, much more greater in Jannah than the physical pleasures. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, وَرِضْوَانٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ أَكْبَرٌ. But the pleasure that is something sublime is the knowledge that Allah is pleased with us. That is something amazing. Because you know, you and I are driven by physical attainments of joy in this world. But in Akhirah, in paradise, it is this feeling that is undescribable to know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with us. According to the riwayat of Ahl al-Bayt, when believers enter Jannah, they are presented with a letter. This letter is from Allah. It says in the letter, مِنَ الْحَيِّ الَّذِي لَا يَمُوتُ, from the being that does not taste death, to the being that shall no longer taste death. أَنَا الَّذِي أَقُولُ لِشَيْءٍ كُنْ فَيَكُونَ. I am the one who says to things, be, and it becomes. Now I give you the power to say to things, be, and it becomes. That feeling when an individual enters Jannah, knowing God is pleased with them, is unmatched and unparalleled. The Quran says, وَرِضْوَانٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ أَكْبَرٌ. The pleasure of Allah is greater, something unimaginable. That's why ulama say, one lesson we learn from this verse is that if we want to really attain Jannah, we have to seek the pleasure of God. That is ultimately our objective in life, yes? What is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pleased with, I do. And what Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala is not pleased with, I stay away from, yes? No doubt this is of great importance. That's why according to narrations, people enjoy different things in Jannah. One narration says that people in Jannah one day see something incredible they've never seen before, yes? There is no sun in Jannah, there is no darkness, there is no night, day and night, yes? But they see as if the sun is rising and there is a powerful ray of light that emerges. And they ask the malaika, what is this? We've not seen this, yes? What is this we've just seen? The malaika respond and say, this is the light and the nur that emerges from the mouth of Ali ibn Abi Talib when he smiles in Jannah. That is a narration that we have found. Similarly, when it comes to describing the holy 12th Imam, Imam Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajah al-Sharif. The narration says what? Al-Mahdi طاووس أهل الجنة. Al-Mahdi is the peacock for the people of paradise. What does that mean? That means normally, this is a figurative description. Normally people love to look at peacocks because what? They're beautiful birds. The narration says on the day of judgment in Jannah, people love to observe and look at whom? The 12th Holy Imam. Yes. His power indeed is something that attracts people. No doubt the Ahl al-Bayt are the path towards Jannah. Isn't it that the Prophet of Islam would say, Al-Hasan wal-Husayn, Sayyiday Shababi Ahl al-Jannah. That Hasan and Husayn are the masters of the youth of paradise. That's why on the eve of Ashura, what do you find? You find Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, when he tested the commitment and the loyalty of his companions, when he saw that they were firm, he would show them their position in Jannah, isn't it? And on the 10th, they would be going towards the battlefield with a smile on their face, yes? Someone will ask them, why are you smiling? You're just to be slaughtered. He said, it's only a few minutes where we are what? In Jannah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ultimately will reward us. But I tell you, there is one lady like no other individual in the history of mankind till the day of judgment. She was created from the fruits of Jannah. Yes. She was created from the fruit that was consumed by the Holy Prophet in his journey in Al-Mi'raj. Sayyidatun Nisa, Lady of Light, Fatimatu Zahra, salawatullahi wa salamu alayha. No other human being has this fadila. No other human being has this virtue. I tell you, if you bring the verse in the Quran in Surah Tawbah chapter 9 and you talk about the pleasure of Allah being the most important thing that the human being will experience, a magnificent process in Jannah for them, and you come to reflect upon the narration of the Holy Prophet, which says what? Fatima bid'atun minni. Ridha Allah min ridha Fatima. Whomsoever Fatima is pleased with, Allah is pleased with. The same word is used, yes? The pleasure of God is proportional to the pleasure of Fatima, yes? Understand her status on the day of judgment when it comes to Jannah, yes? The narration says when people are gathered on the day of judgment, there will be a call made. This is found in numerous books. The call will be, O people, lower your heads and humble yourselves because Fatima is walking towards Jannah. Yes? And indeed people do so. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses her and says, O Fatima, look behind you, and whomsoever loves you and follows you, take them with you to Jannah. Yes. Not only this, narration says, then Sayyidah would say, what about those who loved and followed those who love me and followed me? Yes. Allah says, yes, let them also come to Jannah. Yes. Such is the status and the maqam of this honorable lady. Yes. That the Prophet of Islam recognized, that Amir al-Mu'mineen recognized, that the Ahl al-Bayt recognized, that indeed the Ahl al-Bayt would say, we are the proofs of Allah. نحن حجج الله في الأرض وَفَاطِمَةُ حُجَّةٌ عَلَيْنَا. And Fatima is the proof of Allah over us. Yes. No one can describe the great status of this only lady, this magnificent individual who is so devoted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when we reflect upon how people treated her, when we talk about the dhulm and the oppression that she endured and she suffered, I tell you, you sometimes stand to feel embarrassed that there are human beings out there who don't recognize and did not appreciate the status of the daughter of the Holy Prophet. Even when she was weeping and crying for her beloved father, they would come to Amir al-Mu'mineen and say to him, why don't you stop your wife from crying? They did not even let her weep and cry. They did not even let her shed the tears over the masa'ib and the calamities that indeed befell upon her. That's why the Ahl al-Bayt alayhum as-salam themselves would always remember the masa'ib of Sayyidatun Nisa Fatima. Imam as-Sadiq, one day someone came to him and said to him, Ya ibn Rasulillah, I have been blessed with a daughter. I am about to name her Fatima. Imam as-Sadiq says, if you're naming her Fatima, then please never hit her. Then please never slap her. Then please do not insult her. La ilaha illallah. Imam as-Sadiq is saying, when I remember the name Fatima, I remember what happened to my grandmother Fatima to Zahra. Yes, Imam as-Sadiq hears a lady has been imprisoned. He prays for her to be freed. When she is freed, he asks her, why are you in prison? She says, Ya ibn Rasulillah, when I was walking in the streets, I fell and I felt my ribs bruised. Then I sent my la'na upon the killers of Fatima. They imprisoned me. Imam as-Sadiq would weep and cry. Yes, that is why Imam al-Hasan al-Mujtaba would describe what happened to his mother Fatima after they came and dragged her body, after they had come and crushed her between the wall and the door, after she had lost her baby. Imam al-Hasan says to his father, oh my father, when they came and dragged you, our mother Fatima walked behind, started to call them and say, how dare you do this? Imam says, I saw one of them pick up a particular stick and he hit my mother Fatima to Zahra on her back. She hit her on her broken ribs, but she continued walking. Then I saw another man come and slap the cheeks of my mother Fatima to Zahra. Amir al-Mu'mineen says that is why towards the end of her life she would not look me up in the eyes because her face was bruised. She did not want me to see the bruises on her face. Allahu Akbar. The narrations tell us that Sayyidatun Nisa Fatima suffered in this way, that the pain and the suffering was so extensive that she would indeed become so weak. Amir al-Mu'mineen, according to the narrations, when Sayyida Fatima left this world, he wanted to wash the body of Sayyidatun Nisa on top of her clothes. One narration by Asma says, when he was washing the body, he stopped and he went and sat down and began to cry. Ali cried and cried. He shed the tears and cried. Asma came to him and said, oh Ali, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, why are you crying? You are the one who lifted the gates of Khaybar. Imam said, when I was washing the body of my beloved Fatima, I came across the broken ribs. I could not any longer tolerate. I sat and wept and thought of the pain that my wife Fatima went through when that nail pierced through her body, when that broken ribs must have felt like when they came to bid farewell to the body of Fatima to Zahra, the children of the lady, and Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib gathered around her. It was Zainab and Kulthum, Imam al-Hasan and Hussein. They all hugged her body one after the other. Imam al-Hasan al-Mujtaba hugged the body of his mother Fatima. He cried and wept and said, Mother Fatima, why, oh why you have left us at this young age? Oh Mother Fatima, who is it that's made us orphans? I am your son Hasan al-Mujtaba. At that moment Abu Abdullah approached his mother Fatima. He looked at his mother, he began to weep and cry. He threw himself on the body of his mother. He cried out, Mother Fatima, what will I do after you? The narration says the Malaika said, "Oh Ali, lift the body of Hussein from their mother, because the Malaika cannot bear to see Hussein on the body of Fatima az-Zahra." Allahu Akbar. If the Malaika could not see Hussein on the body of their mother Fatima, how did they bear seeing shimmer sit on the chest of Hussein? How did they bear seeing the eyes of Abul Fadl pierced by the arrow? How did they bear seeing Ali al-Asghar's neck being pierced? ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. ماتم حسين يا حسين.
जंगल में भरे घर को लुटा आई है ज़ैनब, ए शहर मदीना। जंगल में भरे घर को लुटा आई है ज़ैनब, ए शहर मदीना। जंगल में भरे घर को लुटा आई है ज़ैनब, ए मदीना। आबिद को किसी तरह बचा लाई है ज़ैनब, ए शहर मदीना। जंगल में भरे घर को दुला आई है ज़ैनब, ए शहर मदीना। बंदवा के रसन हाथों में और खुतबे सुना के, घर बार लुटा के, घर बार लुटा के। दीवारों बदे कुफ्र के दाई ज़ैनब, ए शहर मदीना। जंगल में भरे घर को लुटा आई है ज़ैनब, ए शहर मदीना। जिस शहर में शहज़ादियों की तरह रही थी, नाज़ों से पली थी, नाज़ों से पली थी। सर नंगे उसी शहर में हो आई है ज़ैनब, ए शहर मदीना। जंगल में भरे घर को लुटा आई है ज़ैनब, है शहर मदीना। जो हिज्र पदर में रहे हर वक्त परेशान, सोई नहीं एक आन, सोई एक आन। उस बच्ची को जिंदा में सुला आई है ज़ैनब, ए शहर मदीना। जंगल में भरे घर को लुटा आई है ज़ैनब, ए शहर मदीना। दारस्ती बहुत भाई को, जिस भाई के दम से दिल पटता है गम से, पटता है गम से। साहिल पे अकेला उसे चोराई है ज़ैनब, ए शहर मदीना। जंगल में भरे घर को लुटा आई है ज़ैनब, ए शहर मदीना। चाहे माँ के असगर को भी झूले के बजाए, दुख दर्द छिपाए, दर्द छिपाए। आगोश में तुरबत के सुला आई है ज़ैनब, ए शहर मदीना। जंगल में भरे घर को लुटा आई है ज़ैनब, ए शहर मदीना। थे ऑन मोहम्मद जो मेरी आंखों के तेरे तारे, मामू के दुलारे, मामू के दुलारे। कुर्बान उन्हें भाई पर कर आई है ज़ैनब, शहर मदीना। जंगल में भरे घर को लुटा आई है ज़ैनब, ए शहर मदीना। आबिद को किस तरह बचा लाई है ज़ैनब, ए शहर मदीना। जंगल में भरे घर को लुटा आई है ज़ैनब,
ए शहर मदीना।
मेरे हुसैन आओ, तुम ही हो अर्श की ज़ीनत। मेरे हुसैन आओ, अली की बन के शुजाअत। मेरे हुसैन आओ, पहन के ताज रिसालत। मेरे हुसैन आओ, पुकारती है मशीयत। मेरे हुसैन आओ, तुम ही हो अर्श की ज़ीनत। मेरे हुसैन आओ, ये हम समझते हैं ज़ालिम फुरात ले लेंगे, तो क्या वो चश्मे आबे हयात ले लेंगे। वो तुमसे कैसे भला का एनात ले लेंगे। ये है तुम्हारी बदौलत। मेरे हुसैन आओ, पुकारती है मशीयत। मेरे हुसैन आओ, तुम ही हो अर्श की ज़ीनत। मेरे हुसैन आओ, कोई हुसैन न पाया जिधर नजर डाली, तो अंबिया में तुम्हारी जगह मिली खाली। तुम्हारे रुख पे है बच्चों की खून की लाली, बना की छोटी सी तुरबत। मेरे हुसैन आओ, पुकारती है मशीयत। मेरे हुसैन आओ, तुम ही हो अर्श की ज़ीनत। मेरे हुसैन आओ, वतन से दूर गरीबुल वतन को मारा है। गरीब नहर के तशना दहन को मारा है। गज़ब आले रसूले ज़मन को मारा है। बदल के रह गई सूरत। मेरे हुसैन आओ, पुकारती है मशीयत। मेरे हुसैन आओ, तुम ही हो अर्श की ज़ीनत। मेरे हुसैन आओ, हुसैन बायत बातिल बदल दिया तूने, यजीदियत का जनाजा कुचल दिया तूने, हंसी हंसी में जो जुल्फों को बल दिया तूने, तोहर की बन गई किस्मत मेरे हुसैन आओ, पुकारती है मशीयत मेरे हुसैन आओ, तुम ही हो अर्श की ज़ीनत मेरे हुसैन आओ।
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Hussein, Allahumma salli ala.
السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى التسعة المعصومين من ذريتك، سيما سيدنا ومولانا صاحب العصر والزمان، عجل الله تعالى فرجه وسهل مخرجه وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره ومن المستشهدين بين يديه. السلام عليكم يا أهل بيت النبوة وموضع الرسالة ورحمة الله وبركاته.